What's up, family? So let's have a real conversation today. No filters, no highlight reels, just truth. And I came across this conversation recently with Cam Newton and Keri Hilson. Keri Hilson is magnificent. She's an amazing singer in her own lane, doing her own thing. And she still looks amazing, man, to be her age. You know, sometimes life be lifing on these females. But she looked like she's just in a great space, a great element, and she's glowing, doing her thing. But it hit home for me, family. A woman Keri Hilson, was breaking down her experience in dating athletes. And listen, this ain't just gossip, it's a wake up call. She says straight up, a lot of athletes are emotionally stunted, great at sports, but undeveloped when it comes to relationships, emotional maturity, or even basic character. Now, that might sound harsh, but it's real. And it says more about the way we raise our young men than anything else. So, today I want to unpack this. If you're a parent, an athlete, a mentor, or even just someone trying to build better relationships, this conversation is for you. So, with no further ado, let's get into the conversation. Check it out.
Yeah, athletes, I think, if I can be real, this is what I say to my girlfriends about my experiences with the two. I've only dated two athletes, so I'm not going to speak generally, but I do also, I'm friends with wives still. And I have had learned a lot because, again, I'm an observer in the world. So I had learned a lot about what the women in the athletes' lives have, what they felt and what the experience was, whether they would say it or not. But a lot of them would be vocal. But athletes, you guys have never, I won't say never, but very seldom were you challenged on being a good partner or a good brother or a good son or a good student.
How about this?
Or a good.
You say everything that you want to say, and I will correct.
Okay.
If needed.
Okay.
So you have full.
Yes, I'm being careful because I'm talking to an athlete, and I don't want to offend you.
You're not. Trust me. You can't offend
or
me.
anyone else, but yeah, I think that you guys have relationally you're stunted because a lot of people have appeased and placated you, and so.
Not to change the subject, but family, you gotta love her self-awareness, right? The respect, saying she not don't want to offend, other athletes or offend Cam Newton. But the thing is, nobody wants a hasty, haughty spirit woman. So you can tell we want a very woman that's soft in her femininity and also being able to articulate herself with the utmost respect, for men. And, these are the type of women who are soft spoken and just amazingly glowing in her own element as a woman in her own femininity. Well, let's continue.
You've gotten your way with women, with teachers, with sometimes pastors. You know what I mean? Because everyone's a fan or nobody wants to be in the way of you making it, and so women don't challenge a certain side of you relationally. And so in my experience, and again, that's mine and the experience of those who who I would speak with. In my experience, that was apparent that just stunted emotionally, stunted, like learning things. We're talking in 30s that maybe someone by 21 would have known. You know what I mean?
Like
relational things, like how to be honest, or I mean, so many things. Yeah. But how to express. No, you know what I mean? How to be mature about
I would agree with you.
Just certain things that.
Now I'm gonna stop her right there, right? So let's be honest. In our community, and when I'm talking about our community, I'm talking about the black community. I was raised, obviously, I'm black. I was raised in a black family. Um, when a kid shows athletic promise, right, the world bends to them. Coaches, teachers, girlfriends, even parents, and they stop challenging them. And all that matters is the game. Grades, character, relationships, that stuff becomes optional. And we put so much emphasis on getting out the hood or making it big that we stop developing the person in the process. And we're raising physical adults with childlike emotional skills. And then we're shocked when they make headlines for the wrong reasons or get played, manipulated, or lost. after their career ends. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, family, we never stop finding ourselves. As long as we lived on this earth, we're always going to keep learning. We're always going to keep evolving. We always have some more work to do, working on ourselves, working on our character or the content of our character, and being better versions of ourselves every single day we wake up to see another day, right? But it's hard when you got someone who has childlike emotional skills. They basically operate in a stance of ignorance when you become an adult, right? Because you have a childlike emotional mindset. And let me say this, talent without character is a setup for destruction every single time. Let's see what else more she got to say.
I will agree with you, but I think
And it wasn't your focus, not to cut you off, but it wasn't y'all's focus. Relationships couldn't have been your focus. You were paid to run the ball down the field or pass the, you know what I mean? And you were paid to do very specific things that anything else that required other things from you, really, your job had to take precedence over a lot of things. So it's not always your fault. It's not your fault at all, really.
I think as you're talking, there's certain things that's coming up. It's like, yo, you don't learn how to love because anybody will love you.
Yes. Bottom line.
You feel me?
Yes.
And it's like
Yes.
stepping away from the game and experiencing. We know how we are. I know and I don't even feel like I'm selling out. It's just the truth. It's like, bro, everybody. Like I tell my kids all the time. I mean, my all-star kids. C1N.
Okay.
It's been a philanthropic give back for me in certain cases that,
I'm
we
aware.
provide football camps and things. And
dope.
when I talk to kids and it's like, man, I got a girlfriend. I'm like, how old are you? 16. I said, what school you going to? Georgia. The University of Georgia? Yeah. Is she going there with you? No, she can't get in. I say, all right. You want the good news or you want the bad news? Like I've been living for a long time and I ain't never known nobody to be married to their high school sweetheart. That's not to say
Keep on living.
Keep on living. Because it's not to say that you can't get married to your high school sweetheart.
Yeah, 'cause some people do.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's real love. But more times than not.
Yeah, especially in athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About that.
It's hard to make
Have y'all
it.
ever seen Get Out?
Yeah. Yeah, there were some real things about that too. But yeah, I think you said it in a nutshell. Like you haven't learned how to love. That's a talent, a tool that you haven't needed or that you couldn't cultivate. So everything, that's what I couldn't pinpoint one thing for you when you asked me what things. Because I'm like, it's really all of it as it
rushed
pertains
you.
to love.
It blitzed you and
Okay?
it was like, hold on, what can I share?
Yeah,
And
I
what
was
can
like,
I just
well, no, it was a lot of things. It was so many. I
Yes,
just was like,
so
I want to prioritize them and give you the best ones. But I'm like, really, it's a lot.
Interesting. So now let's talk about the relationship side, right? Let's talk about the relationship side, because this isn't just a theory. Women are seeing this firsthand, basically. They're dating men who never had to earn affection. They're used to attention, they're used to praise, they're used to women throwing themselves at them. So when it's time to show up as a partner, communicate, listen, lead, love, they're lost. And no one ever told them no. So no one taught them how to handle disappointment, accountability, or emotional conflict. And they were coached in sports, but never coached in manhood. And I don't even like to say partner because at the end of the day, this is not a business. If you're with someone that's your significant other, right? I date, to marry, and I always was taught that you date to marry. Um, a partner is more of a business standpoint, and if you love someone, the love come first. But when I say operate like a business from a business perspective, I mean logical. So you guys pour into each other, and also, you know, looking at each other's strengths and weaknesses, y'all fill in the gaps to eventually have more, gain more, and thrive together, pouring into each other, supporting each other, right? So I don't like the word partner. That's a red flag for me because we're not a partner. If that's the case, we'll be founder and co-founder into a business. We wouldn't be thinking about nothing about a relationship, which which involves in a dating to marry type of perspective. And getting back to what I'm saying about never being coached in manhood. And so they're out here trying to build homes with boys who were celebrated but never shaped these women. And look, I'm not saying this to bash athletes. I'm saying this to protect them Because when the crowd stops cheering, when the contracts dry up, when the DMs stop hitting, what's left? W- What's left is who you are. And if no one taught you how to build a solid identity, the silence becomes loud real quick. I done seen so many times, and even loved ones from my personal experience that wrap themselves in their whole identity, and people wrap themselves around their whole job and careers all the time. But then when it's time to retire or move on to the next phase in their life, they're lost. They never learned themselves. They only learned what was attached to them, which was that career, that job. And it's the same thing for that athlete, right? And you're taking on, you have so many opportunities, and you worked hard at that career to eventually reap what you sow. But at the end of the day, every good thing, everything, just because everything is thrown at you doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything, because everything that you say yes to may not be good. Just like everything you may say no to may be good, right? So you got to know who you are and the content of your character and what you stand for. You either stand for something or you fall for nothing. But let's look at some examples though. Some athletes get finessed in toxic relationships because they never learned discernment. Others burn bridges with teammates and friends because they were never taught emotional intelligence. Some stay stuck in cycles of partying, drama, or being taken advantage of because they were never forced to build wisdom. So this isn't just about a bad decisions issue. It's a missing foundation issue, is what I'm saying, family. And we gotta hold the adults accountable too, the parents. A lot of these young men were raised off of performance, not purpose. We taught them how to win games, but not how to win at life. We told them they were special, but we never taught them how to handle failure, heartbreak, or betrayal. We celebrated their talent, but ignored their trauma. And I know why. We're trying to give them opportunities as parents and we want them to succeed, but shortcuts in character always backfire. As parents, as mentors, we can't just be fans of our kids. We have to develop their soul, not just their skill. And it goes back to the saying growing up, and a lot of my elders, my grandpa and them would say, look, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to teach you, right? A lot of these parents become fans, but also friends first of their kids, but not actually parents having their best interests. That's what love is, right? In a relationship with a significant other, you guys have each other's best interests, where you're being selfless because you're having the best interest of the person you love and they're having the best interest of you, which then you guys are the beneficiaries of each other's greatness because you're always pouring into each other, having each other best interest, and it always boomerangs back to you receiving a recess of your receiving the benefits of the success from your significant other and vice versa. And I just want to break this down plainly, right? And what real manhood looks like from what I learned, right? Being a man isn't about being rich, strong, or admired. It's about being accountable, self aware, emotionally intelligent, and wise. And you can bench 300 pounds but fold when someone tells you the truth. I done seen a lot of men that's on the outside looking built and looking strong, but then inside they dying inside. You can make millions and still fail your family. You could dominate a court but lose your soul. What makes a man isn't how far he could throw the football, it's how well he can love, lead, and take ownership. And if we don't teach our sons, they'll grow up celebrated but lost. So what can we do? Raise the standard. Start young. Teach boys emotional vocabulary. Teach them to lose with grace, to listen, to be honest. Challenge them in love, right? And that's going to take some tough love. Don't be afraid to say no because boundaries build men. Balance praise with preparation, right? We could do that too. That's another step. Let them shine, but also let them struggle. Struggle builds roots, and give them mentorship, not just coaches, but spiritual leaders, men of integrity, big brothers who've been through it. Because here's the truth, we don't just need more stars, we need more solid men. Men who know who they are with or without a football jersey, a basketball jersey, whatever. They are still solid men, whether they are athlete or not, but they're still operating even far greater than an athlete because they're a great man. Right? So all my athletes watching this, all my brothers and sisters, all my parents, speaking from a father perspective, having a son of my own, Anyone's who ever been that golden child or whatever, let me speak directly to you. Don't let the applause stop your growth. Don't let your gifts excuse bad habits. Replace bad habits with good habits. Don't just be talented, but be trustworthy. The spotlight fades, but who you are stays with you forever. And to the parents, coaches, and leaders, we got a job to do. Let's raise more than highlights. Let's raise men of integrity. Now, y'all know what we do over here. This is a conversation, not just a monologue. So let me hear from you. Have you seen this happen in your community? Black, white, whatever. I'm just speaking from my experience, right? In the black community, being raised by a black family. But really just prefacing that to have a conversation. And do you agree with the idea that talent can stunt emotional growth? And what's the fix for the next generation to come? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to learn from y'all too. And make sure you subscribe, like the video, and share it with someone who needs this message. We are building better people, not just better players. And at the end of the day, family, I'm working on myself every single day because I ain't perfect either. I'm always open to the possibility of being wrong. And we always should stay open minded because we can learn more. But when we think we know it all, we close our minds to the things we don't know. But I'm out. Stay solid. Stay growing. On that note, family, peace.